Before we start today's show, for those of you coming across this channel for the first time, this is Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports, and I'm your host, Chase Sr. Let me ask you this question. Do you want year-round coverage of the Sixers that's informative and entertaining? If the answer to that question is yes, make sure you smash that subscribe button because we always have you covered with all things Sixers. And with that, let's start today's show. What's good? Welcome in. This is Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic week. You know who's not having a great week or a great season? The Los Angeles Lakers. They're a joke. The fact that general manager Rob Pelinka got a contract extension this offseason just boggles my mind, and because they're so bad, they could be moving some of their blue chip players. That does include Anthony Davis. That's really the biggest topic of conversation right now among trade conversations in the NBA pertaining to Anthony Davis maybe getting moved. NBA insider saying the Lakers' alternative to trading Russell Westbrook could be moving Anthony Davis. And for the topic of this conversation, if that is the case, should the Philadelphia 76ers be interested in AD? Let's take a look at what Bill Simmons said about this on the Bill Simmons podcast. Yes, he's a Boston guy. A lot of Philadelphians don't like him, but he is tapped into a couple of teams across the NBA, and what he said here pretty fascinating. There's some buzzing that AD might be available. That's a plan B, because the Westbrook trade, or whatever they think they can get for Russell Westbrook, and whether you'd want to give up future assets, maybe that doesn't even make sense, because what are you getting if you're the Lakers? You've got Anthony Davis here, who I don't think has looked the same for a couple of years. Certainly not close to the bubble AD. That's the last time we saw vintage, 2018 Pelicans-level Davis. I don't know what the end game is with this Lakers team, but I know the Pelicans have their pick, and I don't think whatever they have, I don't think it's really fixable in a way to make them a playoff team. And Bill Simmons says a couple of really solid things there, right? Agree or disagree with Bill Simmons, I think we can all agree on this standpoint that Anthony Davis, since playing MVP-level basketball back during the NBA bubble championship, has not been the same player since. My problem with AD has always been the fact that he's brittle, he's not available enough, and he doesn't have that want to, in my opinion, to be a great player. Personality level kind of reminds me a little bit of Ben Simmons, but he's a unicorn, and Ben Simmons is a fraud, and that's why AD is a tantalizing trade asset and a trade option, because you've seen what he can become when he is on the floor and what he is as a very special player. This year up to this point, the numbers pretty solid for a guy who's struggling. 23 points per game, 10 rebounds per. He's shooting just shy of sub 54% from the deck, and for the second straight year, he is really struggling beyond the arc. He's shooting 28.5% from three-point range, but that is better than what he did last year when he was at 18.5%. But in 2019-20, 62 games played when he was actually healthy during that bubble season, 33% for him being a big is actually pretty solid, because what it does, it forces defenders to go out to the three-point arc, which opens up the floor for him for a little dribble drive, but also opens up the floor and creates some vacant space for other offensive players. And for the Sixers, AD is really intriguing, right? Because if you look back at the last time that he played with another legitimate big in DeMarcus Cousins before he popped his Achilles and then his career just went in the toilet after that, AD and DeMarcus Cousins were really, really good. AD and Joel Embiid would be intriguing, and I don't think it would really be like the Joel Embiid and Al Horford disastrous front court pairing that we saw a couple of years ago. Now, if you were to ask me if I were to make a trade for Anthony Davis, I would say no. I think that he's been on a downhill trajectory the last couple of years. I don't like the personality traits that he has as a basketball player. He seems content with being good to very good and not tapping into his greatness, and the injury stuff scares me, but he is a trade candidate out there, and I do wonder if Daryl Morey is having some of these conversations to trade AD. Would you trade him? Trade for him, I should say. Let me know right now in the comment section. I want to hear from the great city of Philadelphia and all Sixers fans out there. I want you to submit a T for trade or a P for pass. Let me know right now. Before we continue to talk all things Sixers, we do have a great deal that we want to tell you about thanks to our friends at Fanatics. This hoodie, phenomenal. And it's on sale. Was $70, now it's $49 if you use our link, chatsports.com/LibertyBell. Have to use that link so that deal applies for you and so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you. Let's break it down for reasons to trade for AD, reasons why not to trade for Anthony Davis. This is why the Lakers would trade Anthony Davis. They're not contending, right? They can acquire future assets for AD. His health longevity concerns are certainly there. It could also free up a lot of salary cap space. His unreliability certainly is a big problem, as I teased a little bit earlier. 2019-20, 9 games missed out of 71. 2020 and 2021, 36 out of 72. Last year, 40 out of 82. And this year, he's also been a little bit banged up. Couple things can be true with Anthony Davis, right? He's a polarizing player. The talent is undeniable, but the injuries are a huge problem. And as he gets older, how does he age? And from an on-court fit for the Philadelphia 76ers, does this even make any sense? What would an Anthony Davis trade look like also for Philadelphia? That's the next kind of portion of this conversation. What's interesting is that the Sixers do have some trade assets that could be of interest for the Los Angeles Lakers. As for that, let's take a look at it. Return for AD. Multiple unprotected first-round picks is probably what the Lakers want. Young, controllable players and an expiring salary. Now, the top note here, the Sixers don't have that because the next first-round pick that they can actually deal is in 2029. But if you talk about a guy like Tobias Harris, whose contract is very similar to Anthony Davis, a young player like Matisse Thybulle, then the second note does apply of young, controllable players. Now, Matisse Thybulle, obviously the younger player. Tobias Harris has been in the league for a long time, but a wing on that team who can score and shoot the rock is exactly what the Lakers need. As for the expiring salary, Matisse Thybulle did not have that contract option exercised, so he's going to be a restricted free agent after this year. The Sixers could match it. It could be a sign-in trade if they were not to want to give him a contract extension. Like, a couple of things are of note here and in play. As for our trade idea, let's take a look at it, right? 3 first-round picks. Now, again, it wouldn't be until well into the future. Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle, and the Sixers receive Anthony Davis. The probability of this, extremely low. And I know a lot of people are going to get in the comment section and say, Chase Sr., you're a fraud. Chase Sr., this would never happen. This channel is a joke. Well, the numbers prove otherwise, and we just want to have an open-minded basketball conversation and talk about the dysfunctional Los Angeles Lakers and one of the more premier trade assets out there on the market. So would you make this deal? I want to hear from you once more in the comment section. Would you do it? Type D for do the deal. If you don't want to do it, ND for no deal, and obviously those first-round picks well down the road. A trade for Davis could also signal the end of the LeBron James era in Los Angeles. That is another kind of segue of this entire conversation. Now, because he signed that contract extension this past offseason, he cannot be traded in year 1 of the deal. But after this year, if LeBron looks at the cupboard is so bare in Los Angeles and he wants out, is he really going to just waste his remaining years of his great NBA career in a dumpster fire franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers, or is he going to want to go somewhere else where he has an opportunity to win a championship? If the Lakers are tanking, there's no need for LeBron to be in LA, and I don't think that he would want to be in Los Angeles. And LeBron James in the city of brotherly love, let's ride. Why? Yeah, he'd be older. There's no doubt about that. It does come with negatives. You probably strip yourself of all young premier assets that you could have. But at the same time, you put yourself in that championship window, and if you don't win it this year, James Harden comes off the books, you have the money to maybe afford a contract of LeBron James to try to go all in with Joel Embiid and hopefully Tyrese Maxey and try to bring a championship to this franchise for the first time since the 1980s. If you made it this far, I want you to type Real One in the comment section. I'm rocking the Real One shirt. You can get yourself a Real One shirt under the merchandise tab on this channel. Comment Real One because we greatly appreciate all of your support. And as we continue to pump out more coverage, it's a perfect time to be alive and subscribe.